Welcome. Thank you for viewing our project video. In this video, we'll be discussing how to build communication skills that can help you deal with a partner in a close personal relationship. These skills are necessary for talking about sensitive topics or dealing with defensive partners. For the most part, we'll be using the example of a marriage because that is one of the closest relationships you will ever be in. Relax and enjoy yourself. It'll be over before you know it.
Josh, you tell me.
Hopefully, for most people, relationships are not one long debate. But there are times when couples feel that they are not communicating effectively with each other. The most obvious example is when couples are quarreling or fighting much too often. A less obvious, but not less common example of ineffective communication is when one or both feels misunderstood, unappreciated, disregarded, or disrespected. When couples are not communicating effectively, when they are not getting most of their basic needs met in the relationship, the following 4 communication skills are essential to success in that relationship. Being deficient in even one of these skills can significantly limit your relationship. Being deficient in more than one of these skills can put that relationship at risk.
Nice bit of fresh air. Oi, cheeky. That's my last bit of chicken.
You didn't want it, did you?
No, of course not. Of course not. Oh, dropped my knife. Excuse me. Clumsy git.
I was saving that bit! I hate you! I loathe you with every fibre of my being! I'd love to murder you! If I thought I could get away with it, I would! I hope you choke on that chicken, you syphilitic, scab-ridden, rancid old witch!
Got it. Lovely.
Negative feelings refers to those feelings which we generally do not enjoy hearing from others. They include bitterness, resentment, disappointment, and disapproval. Just as there can be no hot without cold and no up without down, so too there can be no positive without negative. In order to have a successful marriage, therefore, it is necessary for you to know how to effectively express the inevitable negative feelings that you have towards your spouse. If, however, you express your negative feelings in an uncontrolled outburst of rage, the consequences for the rest of your family can be devastating. But even if your negative feelings are vented in a more controlled fashion, for example, if you use sarcasm, ridicule, or verbal assaults, the communication will be anything but effective. Negative feelings have to be expressed in order for couples to be able to adjust and adapt to each other's needs. Holding in all negative feelings will do more harm than good, as tensions build up like an old-fashioned pressure cooker. The following are a few simple guidelines to communicating what is bothering you. 1. Don't exaggerate. Exaggerating may help let off steam. However, it only succeeds in causing you to be tuned out. 2. Don't mind read. Nothing is more infuriating than to be told that someone else knows better than you what you were really thinking. In spite of what you say to the contrary, they will be convinced that you had malicious motives or harmful intentions. 3. Use more I statements and less you statements. A criticism which begins with you generally introduces a comment which is perceived as an attack. For example, you don't show me enough appreciation for all the housework that I do. 4. Don't generalize. Be specific and try to give examples. Vague, broad generalizations may make you feel that you have been all-inclusive. It may even reassure you that you haven't left anything out. But while it may be very satisfying for you, it makes it difficult for you to be heard.
This is not about keeping your promise, and it's not about following your heart. It's about security.
What is that supposed to mean?
Money!
What are you
He's got a lot of money.
Now I hate you, you
Well, I
slow
hate
bastard.
you. If you leave here, I hate you.
What have
Hey,
you
you if
even
you leave
paying
here.
attention to anything that's been happening
I
to
guess
me?
not. I think I must have misread all of those
I
signals.
guess you did.
You're bored. You're bored and you know it. You wouldn't be here if there wasn't something missing.
Arrogant son of a bitch.
Would you just stay with me?
Stay with you. What for? Look at us. We're already fighting.
Well, that's what we do. We fight. You tell me when I'm being an arrogant son of a bitch, and I tell you when you're being a pain in the ass. Which you are, 99% of the time. I'm not afraid to hurt your feelings. They have like a 2-second rebound rate, and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
You are not the only one with negative feelings. Just as there are things your spouse does which bother you, there are things that you do which drive your spouse absolutely crazy. In order to complete the communication loop so that messages are properly sent and received, it is necessary for both partners to learn how to listen to negative feelings without becoming defensive. This is much harder than learning how to express feelings effectively. Nevertheless, for a marriage to succeed, both spouses must be able to hear each other's complaints without defensiveness. I only meant to. Do you know why I said that? Or, well, you've done the same thing to me plenty of times, are all common examples of defensiveness. What's wrong with being defensive? Isn't it a good thing to explain your actions and set the record straight? Being defensive signals that you are only concerned with being vindicated and not concerned about their feelings. No, it's not a good thing. When you start listing all of the reasons why you shouldn't be blamed for some misdeed, you signal that you're only concerned with being vindicated, and you're not at all concerned about the feelings. Defensiveness on your part only pours grease on the fires of your spouse's temper, and makes your spouse feel unheard and disregarded. Hold on there, you think. If my spouse is upset because of something I did or did not do, then he or she needs to know the reasons for my actions immediately. Right? Wrong. In order to assign blame or to pass judgment on you, your spouse needs to take all the extenuating circumstances into consideration. But if your spouse needs to vent hurt feelings of frustration or disappointment, the extenuating circumstances are totally irrelevant. The term positive feelings refers to such emotions as affection and warmth, appreciation and approval, admiration and respect. They're called positive because they usually generate positive reactions in people who experience these feelings, as well as in the people to whom these feelings are directed. It is no wonder then that many of the words to describe positive feelings begin with the letter A. Unfortunately, people are much more experienced with negative feelings than they are with positive feelings. In school, we were criticized much more often than we were praised. At home, we were punished or reprimanded more often than we were rewarded. And as we were growing up, we had more opportunities to witness the adults around us venting their fury and frustration than we had to witness them expressing affection and admiration. As a result of this imbalanced exposure to negative feelings, most people had many more opportunities to learn how to express negative emotions than they did positive ones. So by the time they reach adulthood, they have a greater fluency in the language of negative feelings than they have in the language of positive feelings. In order to succeed in a relationship, both partners must be able to freely express a wide range of feelings to each other. It is not surprising, therefore, that when these adults marry, they find it easier to tell their spouse what they do not like about them than what they do like about them. Consequently, an important lubricant in human relationships is missing. A relationship can be compared to a bank account. If your deposits exceed your withdrawals, your account remains active. If your withdrawals exceed your deposits, your checks will bounce and your account will be closed. Similarly, if your compliments exceed your complaints, your partner will pay attention to your grievances. But if your complaints exceed your compliments, your criticisms will fall on deaf ears.
This tastes nice. What'd you put in it?
Nothing. Same as ever.
Tastes really great.
Thanks. So you obviously think everything else I cook tastes like I wipe my arse around the plate. You really are an absolute jerk.
Some people can never accept a compliment. If someone tries to compliment them, they change the subject, look away, blush, cough nervously, or all of the above. They find it easier to praise others, and often do. But when they are on the receiving end of the positive feelings, they openly display their discomfort. Learning to express your own and listening to each other's positive feelings can be instrumental in saving a dying relationship and taking it to a whole new level you never thought possible. As you work to master the 4 essential skills for communicating with your partner, the following strategies will be helpful for discussing sensitive topics. 1. Think about the points which you'd like to make beforehand. Know what the goal is and what it is you're trying to accomplish. Picture the desired outcome. This will help you stay focused. 2. Examine your motives. Be honest with yourself about why you feel it's important for your partner to hear this message. Will your message benefit the greater good of the relationship? Sorting this out before attempting a sensitive conversation can help you avoid pitfalls that can sink your attempts to communicate. 3. Rehearse what it is you're trying to say. When you have a clear picture in your mind about the points you'd like to communicate, rehearse what you want to say. This will assist in anticipating your partner's reactions, as well as allowing you to edit your accusatory and critical language. 4. Plan to stay on topic. Topic jumping causes confusion and defensiveness. It usually occurs when emotions run high and feelings are hurt. If your partner brings up another issue to make his or her point, acknowledge his or her feelings, and then tactfully go back to the issue you're trying to work out. 5. Pay attention to your tone of voice and body language. The tone and volume of your voice, your facial expressions, whether or not you make eye contact, and your posture, all ultimately enhance or undermine your message. If your body language exudes disinterest, judgment, or hostility, your partner is likely to disregard your message. If you're dealing with a defensive partner, keep the following 2 strategies in mind. 1. Resist the urge to fight to win the argument. Listening and asking questions leads others to their own better conclusions. 2. When dealing with difficult people, our immediate urge is to jump to our own defense. This will only prove to make matters worse. Sure, you need to stand up for yourself, but do so without demanding that you be above criticism at all costs. We hope you have found this presentation as helpful and informative as we did. Keeping these simple guidelines and strategies in mind will help you when communicating with someone in a close relationship with you, whether that be a best friend or a spouse. Remember, relationships take work, and the better we can communicate with each other, the easier it will be. Thank you for your time, and may all your relationships be productive.